Welcome to the Milsurp Mike channel. This past weekend was the Missouri Valley Arms Collectors Association show in Kansas City, Missouri. This is a great show every year. It's one that I look forward to. This is one of the 10 best gun shows in the country when it comes to old guns. I'm a member of the Missouri Valley Arms Collectors Association, and I had a table there as well this weekend. I was also part of Danny from Milsurp World. He had the Milsurp World meetup, so I was a part of that. I was wearing one of the shirts, and I looked like I was part of his cult on Saturday. There was a lot of great guys I met there, and a lot of very knowledgeable guys. Know that I'm going to probably lean on them in the future for some things that I don't know about. As I said before, I'm not a pattern collector. I kind of like the macro history around guns. A lot of these guys are really deep into certain subsets of Milsurps. So I was glad to meet some of them. So without further ado, I'm gonna do a little show and tell video. As I said, this is kind of an annual tradition now. First, I'm gonna do the books, and know that this may be boring for you, but it's always good to add it to my library. Got the Luger Story by John Walter. He wrote one of the books that I used as a source for my Walter videos. I kind of trust him. I got a little book by Jan C. Still on German pistols of the two world wars. He has a book out called I believe the Pistols of the Central Powers in World War I. That book is $400 or $500 now since he passed away, and there isn't another reprinting of it. Luckily, Danny has that book, and I was able to snapshot some the pages that talk about the Dryza pistols, so I'll be able to use that as a source for the Dryza 1907 video that's coming up sometime in the near future. I got this little guy for $10, so I can't complain about that. Got a book about a subject that I don't know very much about, bayonets. After this show, I said that I'm going to kind of lay off on buying guns for a while, but to scratch the Milsurp itch, I think I'm going to still go to shows and try to pick up bayonets for certain guns. I definitely don't have anywhere near the bayonets for the Milsurps that I should have. So this is a good kind of intro to learn about bayonets. And as I get deeper into it, I may have to get books that are more specific, country specific. And finally, I'm hoping this one ain't Fudlore, but I got Colt Firearms by Dean K. Borman. Thumbing through it, it seemed like it was a decent book that had a decent, maybe larger scale history on Colt. This will add to other books in my library that talk about Colt and Colt firearms. This definitely isn't going to go with IS, seeing arsenal depth on it. Hopefully this will help me out if I, do some Colt firearms in the future. So that's my books. Let's go to some of the ammo next. One of the book tables that I got the Colt Firearms book from, they had some ammo there. I got some 5.77 Snider ammo. I don't own a Snider rifle. I plan to in the near future. That will kind of help complete the British collection. I will have some rounds for it. Now, I don't know if I'll shoot these or just use these to hopefully load new Snider rounds, but I have rounds and I have brass, so I could actually at least experience shooting one when I get one, and I will get one in the future. Also picked up some more 43 Mauser for the Mauser 7184. I need to get into that rifle. The magazine cutoff is kind of stuck, so I need to get into that, get it loose and get everything nice and oiled in that. As I have said for years, I want to do a German series, and this will help make it closer. I also got another box of ammo for something I don't have yet, but I do want to get a Smith & Wesson Model 3 Russian, and I saw this box of 44 Russian there, so I'm like, when am I going to see that again? So I picked that up. I picked up some surplus 30-06, 50 in each bag. Each bag is $25. Definitely couldn't pass that up. Got that at the same table as one of the firearms here. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. And finally, on the ammo that came as part of a package deal that was too hard to pass up, I got 4 bandoliers plus a couple of stripper clips of 8mm Mauser, as well as a spam can of Romanian 8mm Mauser. Came with a reproduction trench mag, and of course the deal came with a K98K. It was a JP Sauer Some of the things matched on it. It looked like Bubba had got to it at some point, but they debubbified it. Bubba got to it, put a scope on it, basically. They debubbified it, you know, filled in the drill holes, they filled in the wood. It would have been a great rifle for a reenactor or, you know, somebody who just wanted a K98K to shoot. I have a really good example of a K98K, and as I've discussed earlier, I'm not really a pattern collector. You know, that didn't really do much for me. The deal was too good to pass up. The whole package was $800. That's like $400 worth of ammo alone. So I ended up trading that K98K. This is the only thing the only firearm I got on the last day of the show. But I ended up trading this on a Syrian Mauser. The Syrian Mauser was originally a Yugo 48A, but the numbers are all matching. It has the Syrian crest there. It has Syrian serial numbers on it. Plus it has a K98 bayonet on it. So I was very happy with the deal, you know, what that turned into. Like I said, that was the only firearm I got on the last day. The first day is Friday. Friday is for members and vendors only. So since I was a member, you know, I went in there, and that's usually when all the really good wheeling and dealing happens. A lot of good firearms actually leave on Friday before the public's even allowed on Saturday and Sunday. But trust me, there's plenty to be had on Saturday and Sunday. One thing I got on Saturday, actually I got this from a guy that I have seen at, you know, I've seen him at every gun show. He always has a great table. I actually got my Walther PP from him back in November. Got a little guy here, Walther Model 9. Now, this is something I kind of wish I had when I did my Model 8 video, but this guy will probably get a standalone video. I have a history of a Walther factory book coming in. This was actually brought up to me by one of the guys from Danny's Milsurp meetup, and he told me about this book. It was only published a month ago. I'm like, you know, I was like, damn it, you know, I could have used that. I could have used it, you know, back when I was making the Model 4, Model 8 videos, but I still ordered it, and like I said, maybe I'll make a little standalone video here on the Model 9, little 25 ACP, you know, he's just a little guy. So that's the only pistol I got this weekend. Something else I got on Saturday, I don't know, I might have actually got this on Friday, but this is a Swiss Vetterli 1869-71. I kind of picked up an interest in these when I did my Winchester 1866 video, because he was really big in the Swiss trials, and this has some of the same things on it that you see on some of the Winchester rifles, including the King's loading gate, and actually the injection in that popping up is kind of similar to the Winchester rifles. So you can see that it borrowed from the Winchester rifles, and I hope, you know, they got money from the King's loading gate, which Winchester was a shrewd businessman. He probably did. I can't keep information in my brain. If I talked about that fact in the video, you'll have to go back and look for it. But this is unconverted, so it's in 41 Swiss rimfire. Nick from Milsurp Duo said, you know, there's real good instructions online and talking about how to convert it, and he was saying that it, you know, may actually help its value, but I don't know, I may keep it the same. I may try to find some 41 Swiss rimfire, see if I can't find some commercial produced from the years on the gun broker, and actually, you know, just experience firing this how it was supposed to be fired, and then, you know, maybe have it converted at some point later on. But, you know, this was a good find. The vice president of MVACA, he's a great guy that actually helps dispel the stereotype of boomer Milsurp collectors. You know, he just wants to pass on the knowledge. You know, if he sees a great deal, you know, he passes it on to you. You know, if you, it isn't, you know, a really big desire for him, you know, he'll let you know about it. Like he was actually the one that passed the K98 with all the ammo to me, and he was telling me about a Vetterli that was at another table. You know, if you get the guy down to $400, you know, it's a really good deal on the Vetterli. I spotted this at another table that was actually in a lot better shape than the one he showed me. Got it for $400. So he kind of smiled and was happy when I, you know, came up there to him with this, and you know, this is a real good addition to my Swiss collection. So I was really happy to get this. Something I got on the first day. This was a fella I was hoping would show up. He was at the show last year, and he only shows up to the MVACA shows. I think he actually was at he was at the last meeting, if I remember right. But he had this Martini, and this is definitely not a Kuiper Pass Martini. It's, you know, has definite British markings on it. You know, my very first Milsurp mic video was how to tell the difference between a Kuiper Pass and a regular Martini Henry, and I need to remake that video without the uhs and ums. You know, a good scripted video on that, and maybe go a little deeper to that, like taking the buttstock off, because one of the things tells is the screw that goes into the buttstock. You know, if it's an actual screw, or, you know, it just looks like somebody just, you know, there's no symmetry to it at all on the Kuiper Pass. So that'll probably have to be a future video. Now, it does have some Nepalese markings on it, but this was a British made, and I think it was sent to Nepal. You know, it's a Mark IV. You know, it has a, you know, looks like it has a correct sling on it. So, you know, I was hoping he'd show up because I knew he had this, and I'm pretty happy to get this. So finally, we're gonna get to my American shooty boys here. First, I got a Remington Model 10 riot gun. Now, I got this from the same lady that I got my, it wasn't a PTR 91, but it was a Portuguese 91, you know, G3 copy basically a couple of years ago. And I always try to get something from her table every year. She's in the same place. She shows up at this show every year. She's in the same place. And she's basically selling off her deceased husband's collection. Real nice lady. You know, she has her brother or brother-in-law there, so she doesn't get taken, but, you know, she isn't there to rip anyone off. You know, and I've gotten real good deals from her. And again, I got a real good deal from her on this, and that's also where I got the 30-06 ammo I showed you earlier. You know, Remington Model 10 riot gun, you know, it just, you know, adds to, I really lacking in the shotguns, Milsurps, so this adds to that collection. Finally, I'm going to show basically the first thing I got there on Friday. I wanted to knock off a bucket list item. The 3 bucket list items I went there with my head is I either wanted to get a trench gun, a Winchester Model 1895 Russian, or a G41. The only G41 there was double the market value, so that was definitely out. And, you know, there were some guys that you wonder if they sold anything because they were definitely above market value. I didn't see a Johnson there for under $10,000, which I think is definitely high. And, you know, some guys were trying to sell them for $12,000. But I did knock one of the bucket list guns off the list here. I got a Winchester 1897 trench gun. This is in the correct serial number range for a World War II trench gun. Although I think this is more of a World War I style heat shield on it. Now, one of the guys had me, from Danny's meetup, had me a little worried because he said, well, you know, it really the barrel should be sticking out a little bit from the heat shield. But Nick from Milsurp Duo, he made me feel a little bit better. He had Poyer's book on the Winchester riot and trench guns, and it said that they were made in 3 different lengths, and there were no like standard for the riot or trench guns in World War II. So that made me feel a little better. But I mean, this has the correct markings for you know, World War II trench gun, and as I said, it's in the right serial range. It's in the 955,000 serial range. If it wasn't a trench gun, I mean, it might have been a riot that somebody slapped it, but still, you know, it's well worth it. So I knocked a bucket list gun off. So overall, this was a great show. I ended up selling a antique gun I had and a couple other guns, you know, a couple other Milsurps at the show. So that kind of helped me obtain some of these. And as I said, I've sold some this summer, so, you know, hopefully I don't end up getting divorced over this. But anyway, if you like what you see, please check out another video over here. Please join the GOA, get $5 off your membership with the link below. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.